Hi everyone, Mike here. Happy New Year. A bit late, but this is my first video of 2025. I'm just going to give you 3 tips on creating really good guitar lines, focusing on my guitar, MG soft acoustic guitar, so it'll be an acoustic guitar style, but could be transferred to any kind of guitar VST. So tip number 1 is gaps. You've got to leave gaps in the right places. When the guitarist's hand moves right and left, for instance, when you're changing a chord, things like that. So we'll start with some chords. So here we are in chord mode in soft acoustic guitar, and these blue key switches down here provide a down strum and an up strum. And if I just link some chords together, what I can do is just show you this chord release menu. Now if I just say let ring, now this suits some occasions, but normally you're going to hear what I'm going to demonstrate is not particularly great. So you can hear that there's no gaps at all between the chord changes. Now if I put on squeaks, whenever I push a new chord down, I will get a squeak and then a gap. So if I start with the C chord and then go to a G and then an A minor or whatever, so I just put down a little triad, C in the purple area, A minor, and you can see it is important just to leave that little gap. It just simulates the squeaking, and I can turn these squeaks on and off. If I go into the calibrate page, I can increase the fret noise. Maybe it was a little quiet, for instance. So now, we're going to talk about single notes. So if I go back just to note mode, this is where you're just playing single notes. So if you notice then, I put little gaps between the notes. Now that sounds better than... that sounds more like a guitarist. Now I'm just going to demonstrate what I mean with this, with my trusty Martin guitar. If I pick, you see there's 2 movements. One is to stop, and then that finger plays, the next finger stops. So you can hear, if I slow it down, you can hear the gaps. It's very hard for me to actually go. It just sounds fake even if I do it in reality. So, back to the guitar. Now, if I wanted to link them, I would use legato, which is slurring. On the guitar with the left hand, you would be hammering on or pulling off. So there's one slur there, a pull off, and then the rest of the notes. So I'm just going to record that just same simple phrase in. Now you can see here what I did is I overlapped, and this is how you do a slur in soft acoustic guitar. The dot should appear as a kind of browny yellow dot. Now it didn't because there is a velocity threshold, and you can see slur sensitivity is quite low at the moment, so I'm going to turn that up a bit. I could turn the MIDI note down. Either way, I'm going to hopefully see a yellow brown dot, and there it is. Now if I speed that up, that sounds pretty realistic. So the key point here is, if you want to connect the notes, pretty much make sure always that you trigger legato slurs, and you should see those yellow dots appear by making sure the volume threshold is okay. If not, I'd advise a small gap like I've shown, because it just simulates that string stopping and then playing, and that's what's so important for convincing lines in any guitar VST. Just before I leave this point, there's a handy feature in soft acoustic guitar, the legato switch. Now this, if it's off, it sort of suits arpeggio type playing, and And it's easy to trigger slurs, but it's even easier to get the kind of feel that you want if you click the legato switch. So tip number 2 is use authentic guitar voicings. This is so important just to convince people that it's a real guitar. People don't necessarily know what guitar voicings are, but they know what a guitar is and they've heard guitar a million times. It's very, very important. So here we are in chord mode again, and you can see the voicing is on auto. So whatever triad I hold in the purple area, if I play a G chord with the strum keys, if I slow down the strum actually using the mod wheel, so you can actually progressively slow down the strum as it goes up, you can see clearly the notes are going smoothly up the strings and down, and these are all sorted out for you, whatever chord I press, like an F chord, A minor, and we go into 7th. So these are all authentically voiced for a guitar. If you want to use manual chords, you could switch voicing to manual. Now whatever notes you hold down, so say I hold a F, G and a C, I'll get a sus chord, but it will be just those notes. And then I can do different inversions. I could do a crazy chord. So that does give you a lot of freedom if you want to go beyond the 7ths and stuff like that you would get through a normal guitar voicing. Another really useful feature on the chord mode page are these yellow key switches up here. They control the individual strings, so we can see it's going up and down the voicing. Okay, so what if you want to actually learn about the chord voicings and stuff? Well, again, we have, if we go to note mode, the neck at the top, so say if I play a C note, the next up on the triad would be E, then G, that works, C, E, G, you see that's the same string, so that would not be included, that top G, so it would just be those. And there we have it, the usual C-type shape as you play on a guitar. So tip number 3 is humanize. You've really got to make sure that things aren't rigidly on the grid and too similar in terms of velocity, and the way to do that, the easy way to do that, is to play in your lines instead of programming them in. And you can easily just slow down the tempo and make it as easy as you like for yourself. So here we go, I'm just going to put in something, I don't know, something random. Here we go. Okay, so here we have a simple line which I'll play back, and I used the sustain pedal, so you see I didn't have to hold the notes. If your instinct is to quantize, and I do this all the time, let's just shut acoustic guitar a second. We want to make sure the strength isn't at 100. I mean, I leave it really low, about half, about 50. On semiquavers, click, you might have to do something, but that's looking pretty tight a bit early, which is absolutely fine if it sounds good, so you've got to use your judgment. Okay, now I'm going to speed it up a bit. Now there'll be a couple of places between the chord changes where it would be nice to have more of a gap and a squeak, but let's have a listen. That's good. That flows. It's there. Doesn't sound good, so we want to stop it. Now you see it does stop, but it carries on with the audio because I have been using the sustain pedal, and you can see it doesn't stop until it's too late. It's not like a piano pedal. You want to stop, you want to lift the pedal before the start of the next note, then set it and then release it. So again, I think right at the end might need one. That's pretty good actually before the beat. Okay, so here what I've done is just put in a splice loop. How can we humanize this further? Well, obviously, if this is the kind of genre we're doing, it'll be loops. But what I want to do is I'll loop the beat and I'll copy over the soft acoustic guitar, say 4 times is enough for now. I will select all the notes, functions in Logic, you got this in any DAW, and there's a humanize option. So I'd always do this with a real sounding instrument. So it just gives a subtle difference to the timing and the velocities. And you could even alter the sustain pedal slightly. There was a bit too much of a gap at the end there, so I could just shorten that. I could maybe lengthen that a bit. So it just gives variation every time the loop goes round. The final thing is we could change the notes themselves. So the second time we could have maybe a slur there. Turn that down, make sure it's in the threshold. So I could just put that back to there maybe. So I feel like this wants to stop. Yeah, that'd be nice. So there you go. Really what I've done with the final tip is combining the first 2 tips. Plus a couple extra things talking about the sustain pedal, varying the parameters every time you do the loop. It takes a bit longer, it's very much worth it. Again, the listener will know if they've heard exactly the same thing 50 times in a track. So there you go, hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you soon. Check out my other vids for lots more on soft acoustic guitar. I hope that's taken you a step closer to demystifying the guitar a little bit, and hope to see you soon. Bye.